Job chapter 9. Job complained regarding God's dealings. Then Job answered and said, I know it is so of a truth, but how should man be just with God? If he will contend with him, he cannot answer him 1 of 1,000. He is a wise in heart and mighty in strength, who had hardened himself against him and had prospered, which removeth the mountains, and they know not, which overturneth them in his anger, which shaketh the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof tremble, which commandeth the sun, and it riseth not, and sealeth up the stars, which alone spreadeth out the heavens, and treadeth upon the waves of the sea, which maketh Arcturus, Orion, and Pleiades, and the chambers of the south, which doeth great things past finding out, yea, and wonders without numbers. Lo, he goeth by me, and I see him not. He passeth on also, but I perceive him not. Behold, he taketh away, who can hinder him? Who will say unto him, What doest thou? If God will not withdraw his anger, the proud helpers do stoop under him. How much less shall I answer him, and choose out my words to reason with him? Whom though I were righteous, yet would I not answer, but I would make supplication to my judge. If I had called and he had answered me, yet would I not believe that he had hearkened unto my voice? For he breaketh me with a tempest, and multiplieth my wounds without cause. He will not suffer me to take my breath, but filleth me with bitterness. If I speak of strength, lo, he is strong, and if of judgment, who shall set me a time to plead? If I justify myself, mine own mouth shall condemn me. If I say I am perfect, it shall not prove me perverse. Though I were perfect, yet would I not know my soul? I would despise my life. This is one thing before, therefore I said it. He destroyed the perfect and the wicked. If the scourge slay suddenly, he will laugh at the trial of the innocent. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges. Therefore, if not, where and who is he? How now my days are swifter than a post. They flee away, they see no good. They are passed away as a swift ships, as the eagle that hasteth to the prey. If I say I will forget my complaint, I will leave off my heaviness and comfort myself. I am afraid of all my sorrows. I know that thou wilt not hold me innocent. If I be wicked, why then labor I in vain? If I wash myself with snow water and make my hands never so clean, yet shalt thou plunge me in the ditch, and mine own clothes shall abhor me. For he is not a man as I am, that I should answer him, and we should come together in judgment. Neither is there any day's man bewitched us, that might lay his hand upon us both. Let me take his rod away from me, and let not his fear terrify me. Then would I speak and not fear him, but it is not so with me. Here is the explanation of chapter 9. Job, awe of God, frustration with him. Job highlighted God's unmatched powers in nature in the opening lines of the second speech. The question of how a person could be righteous before God is similar to the one raised by Eliphaz's vision dream, but the concern is different one. Job is using a different preposition, not before God, but with God. That is to say, Job is asking whether it is possible for anyone to engage God's legal dispute and win the case, but be declared righteous. The implication is that in such a legal controversy, Job would lose the case even though he was righteous. Verses 13 to 19 describes Job's sense of inadequacy before the divine assaults. The final part of verse 13 can be rendered as Alice of the proud or as Rahab's helpers. Rahab can refer to pride or to a proper name. God's mastery over nature is sometimes personified in any mythology, as his victory over chaos monsters with names such as Rahab and Leviathan. In this case, Job portrayed the Lord as victorious over them. At the end of verse 18, the word Sabah is used. This has been rendered as fill or saturate or overwhelm. The literal sense is that of satisfy or satiate. God was feeding Job until he was stuffed full with bitterness. Job found no evidence that God cared enough to give him a fair hearing. He was a victim of an internal conflict. Intense torment made him susceptible to accusations of guilt. Though conscience recalled no errant deed, to him when it came to suffering, there was no difference between guilty and innocent. This was a momentous statement containing truth to which Job was not necessarily committed, particularly because it was only a half truth. It was half true because destruction had befallen Job, who knew he was damned. It was only half true because the he Job blamed for that destruction was God. In his pain, he spoke to God freely as a friend, sharing with him his confusion. He even concluded that he would never again live without pain and suffering. Job was fearful of his sufferings. He feared to be optimistic, lest he be proved wrong by suffering. By saying that God was not human like he was, Job was acknowledging the great distance separating him and all humans from God. He doubted that God would even listen to his voice or that his condition could be arbitrated because he lacked a mediator. But there was a possible solution: the withdrawal of his rod. The rod, the agent of discipline, may have stood for the discipline itself. If God would relent in his aggression, Job would find the courage to speak up and to make his case before him. Amen.